Hello. Okay, I'm going to be so real with you. I am in the depths of hell in my luteal phase, which means I am angsty, I am spicy, and I have been spiraling thinking of my newest obsessions of pet peeves related to the coaching industry. Okay, I'm deep in this space, and this isn't just the coaching industry. This is really just online business in general. This isn't just specific to only coaches, but I'm in this space along with y'all. I see it all too. And there are just some things that I get my little mind in and I can't unsee it. And sometimes I can just be like, I'm going to put that over there. It is what it is. I can't let go. So I decided, we're at the end of the year. I need to record an episode. Maybe I channel my angst for good. And I round up my current pet peeves and we do a little plea together, like I'm going to plea with all of us. And these things, some of these things I do too. All of these things I have certainly done for sure. So this is my plea for all of us to bring awareness to this behavior. We're not going to judge ourselves. It is what it is. We're going to have a gay old laugh, and then we're leaving this behavior behind in 2024. So this episode actually pairs beautifully with the last episode, which was the broke behavior episode. Behavior that will keep you broke. If you have not listened to that, go listen to it. It's really, really good. I've gotten great feedback on it. And by the way, round of applause to those of you who can hear something that you may currently be doing and not take it personally, not get triggered by it and say, wow, that makes sense how that would be negatively affecting me. Thank you for bringing awareness to that. I'm going to try and fix it. That's really impressive. Not everybody can do that. So again, if you haven't listened to that episode, go listen to that episode. This behavior, I am going to sum up as beta behavior that we are leaving behind in 2024. All right, let's get into it. Welcome to All In with Allie, the podcast for online business owners and entrepreneurs who are ready to create the life and business of their dreams. I am so happy you are here. I cannot believe we're done with 2024. It's bizarre. I don't know if this is the fastest year of my life, but it's up there. I feel like we were just here. I feel like we were just celebrating Christmas. It's bizarre. But anyway, overall, I'm very satisfied with how this year went. I feel like, especially the second half, I'm down with. I'm really happy with the direction that things are going. I feel like I've caught a new wave in my business, which feels really nice. And I am just hanging on to dear life. I am not letting go. So I hope that you feel the same way. If you don't, it can change in a blink. So let's just hold out for that. And if it's not, if you don't feel like you've got momentum happening, if you feel a little stuck right now, maybe it's because we're exhibiting some of this beta behavior, and that's okay. It's fine. It's not a big deal. Like I said, I've done it. We've all done it. But we're not here to be betas. And when I say beta, I don't mean alpha. We're going to be alpha. I just mean leaders. I mean women who came here to fuck shit up in the best possible way. Not women who came here to be like all the other ones, but women who we have a level of awareness about us that isn't normal. We go for things that aren't normal. We're here to live life on our terms, right? We're here to be examples of how good life gets to be and how big business gets to be, if that is a goal of yours. But I like to sum it up with just creating a life by design, as cliche as that sounds. But you can't do that when you are behaving like everybody else, right? When you're falling into the same trap that every other person is falling into. I was going to say average person, but that sounds mean. That sounds mean. And I'm not doing this to be mean. I'm doing this, again, just so we can rise above it. Because this behavior that we're going to go through, how many do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 things. And I'm going to go through them quick because my mood. I'm not trying to get in trouble and piss anybody off. But like, I bring these forward just to say like, okay, it's fine. It's not a big deal. But like, if you're doing this, it's keeping you at a certain frequency. It's taking your life force. That's what it's doing. It's taking your life force and it's sending you down a path that you may not want to go. So that's what I mean by beta behavior. It's just like average behavior. And there's nothing wrong with average behavior. But I believe that most people listening to this do not want to live an average lifestyle, don't want to do what everybody else does. So we have to stop behaving like the average friend of ours. Does that make sense? Oh my God. Okay. I can already tell. I'm going to overthink this to death. So I'm going to go. I'm not going to overthink this. First beta behavior we are leaving behind in 2024. Are you listening to me? Beta launches. Beta launches. Do you know what that is? Let's just think about this for 2 seconds. What is a beta launch? A beta launch, first and foremost, awful title. Second, a beta launch is basically saying, hey, I don't have this thing fully ironed out. This thing is not perfected. So I'm going to serve it to you at a discount in hopes that you buy it so I can work out the kinks and then present the perfected one to people who value their time. So let me give you this unfinished thing because you clearly don't value your time. You value your money over your time. That is what a beta launch is. Do you know what beta launches attract? Betas. Beta groups attract betas. Beta groups attract betas. So if you are trying to catch a whale, okay, let's say you're trying to catch a certain caliber of client, but you're trying to do it with a beta fish bait. You cannot get upset that you're not catching a whale. Whales swim with whales and they eat whale food. They don't eat beta fish food, okay? This has been sending me into a spiral. I cannot handle it. It is so stupid. Are we not thinking? This is like so insane to me. This is the one thing out of this whole list that I have not done because I've never for the life of me understood what the thought process is. And you know what it is? And by the way, please, for the love of God, if you are doing a beta launch and you're hearing this and you're like, damn, okay, and you feel like I'm talking to you, I'm not talking to you. There are millions of people out here who do this. And do you want to know why? Because somebody out there did it first. So it's like, oh, we have to do beta launches. It's like discovery calls, right? Somebody else did discovery calls because that worked for them because that's how they want to run their business. So everybody was like, I guess we have to do discovery calls. No, you don't. This is your business. You get to do whatever you want. What do you want to do? Stop with the fucking beta launches. They drive me insane. Nobody wants to do a beta launch. Nobody. You have to be so strategic with them. I've seen beta launches be done well, maybe twice in my whole career. And it's because the people who did it had a giant, and I mean giant audience. And the way that they presented it was super strategic. So like, and by the way, one of the other things I have on this list, which we will get to, is letting other coaches override your knowing, myself included. So this is where if you like doing beta launches and they work for you, you get to flip me the middle finger and say, you know what? Like, do you angry, angsty woman, I'm going to continue my beta launches and I respect it. I respect it. But if you don't like doing beta launches and you're only doing them because somebody told you that you should, stop. It's so stupid. Moving on. God, that felt good. I wonder if I'm going to keep it. Yeah, we're going to let it ride. All right. So there's that. Next thing that we are leaving behind in 2024 is complaining about not having a certain caliber of client when you're only catering to the current client that you have. I see this a lot. Like I see people who are like, well, I want to charge higher prices. I want to create these higher level offers, right? Like I just did Pulling Money from the Sky, which was absolutely incredible for the price point of this group. It is an insane training. It's so good, but it's all around selling high ticket and selling to these quote whales who are absolutely like everybody. I don't care how big or small your audience is. I cannot get my mic to stay right now. I don't care how big or small your audience is. Everybody has at least one whale in their audience who, and what I mean by that is like a client who wants the higher level thing, the client who values her time over her money necessarily. And she understands that closer proximity, a higher level offer is the vibe because that's just what she wants, right? So those are like our dream whale clients. Now, not all dream clients have to be clients that pay high ticket. A whale could be a client who just buys easily, who doesn't overthink it, who moves when she knows. A whale client could be a client who does the work and shows up. She can be beginner. She can be anywhere on the spectrum of, how far along you are in business. It doesn't have to be like a higher level situation. It's just like that dream client that everybody wishes for. Everybody has this in their audience. But what I see a lot is of people who make excuses and who say, well, I would love to make a higher ticket thing. I would love to make this caliber of course or program, but I don't have those people in my audience. It's so hard. Like you're telling me to sell a 10K thing or a 5K thing or a 1K thing, or you're suggesting that like I could do this, but I struggle selling the $100 thing. Baby girl, it's because you are using beta bait. Whales don't want beta bait. That's what I mean by that. So yeah, that type of offer, and I love $100 offer, by the way. So please, like, don't get hung up on the beta thing, please. I'm not saying that people who buy lower ticket or who are only in a position right now to buy lower ticket is a beta. That's not what I'm saying at all. I buy low ticket sometimes too. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying if you are only catering to the beginner client or only catering or putting out offers at a certain price point, whether it sells easy or not, you can't say, well, nobody else will buy the other thing because you're not even trying. You're not trying. That caliber of client isn't interested in those things. So why would they reach out to you? Why would they buy? You see what I'm saying? So if you want to attract a different type of client, you need to be speaking to her. We need to be speaking to her. We need to be relating to her, and we need to be her. That's another thing. I see a lot of people who, again, want to be able to sell higher ticket or work with a certain caliber of client, and but they're only catering to another caliber of client. So there's that. But then also, you get what you put out, right? So like, I said before, kind of jokingly, like whales swim with whales, but it's true, right? Like leaders attract leaders. So if you're looking for a self-led woman and you want to work with a self-led woman, but you are not being a self-led woman in your own right, in your own business, whatever that means, go listen to last week's episode. We go like really deep into a lot of examples of this. It's okay, right? You get to fix it, but that's what's happening there. So moving forward, I can't stand, one side of my hair is more curly. See, my mindset is not well. I'm fixating. I'm not going to look at myself. Okay. So moving forward in 2025, if we want to attract a certain type of buyer, a certain type of client, we're going to do two things instead of what we've been doing. We are going to, one, create offers for her. Actually, no, back up just a little bit. We're not going to create offers for her yet. We are going to work on being at her caliber first. We are going to be a match to her first. What does she move? How does she move? How does she operate? How does she make decisions? What do you wish you could work with? So like for me, dream clients for me are women who they're empowered buyers, right? They like, even if the money isn't there, like I had the most incredible experience with this woman who just came into my mastermind. And it's not the one who paid in full. We've already talked about her. We talked about her in the last episode. I've talked about her a few different times. This is a different person. This particular person came to me, and she's more beginner for the type of business that she's creating, okay? So again, it's not like, to me, like I will work with a woman who has not even gotten started as long as she knows where she's going. Like that's what I always say. I don't care where you are. All I care about is your belief on where you're going and how committed you are to getting there. That's all I care about. So this particular client, she came to me. She has a very lustrous, colorful past in terms of careers. She's done many different things, but in terms of like taking our business online, hasn't really done that yet. And she wanted to come to the mastermind, and she knew that was a move for her. She was like, I don't even really have the money, and I was like, look, I don't ever pressure ever. Like, I don't do that. I'm not going to like talk you through how to get funding. That's totally on you. So like, obviously there's an investment to come into Rare. So, like if you can get there, great. If not, like it's here when you're ready. So there's never any pressure. Like it'll be here. So I would love to work with you. Like once we figured out we're a good fit, I was like, I would love to work with you. She figured it out. I don't know how she figured it out, but she figured it out. That is an empowered buyer. And not just because the money, quote, wasn't there and then she figured it out and she bought. She could have came to me and said, you know what, it's not the right time right now. That also is an empowered buyer, an empowered non-buyer. That's a thing too. That is what I'm interested in. I'm looking for a woman who when she wants something, she moves or she figures it out, or she says, you know what, now's not the right time, but I'm going to figure it out. That to me, that's a dream client. I also want to work with a woman who does the work, who comes into a group and she listens and she asks questions and she leans into the best of her ability. That is the type of client that I want to work with. I want to work with a type of client who wants to do it her way and isn't interested in necessarily how I did it or how somebody else does it. She knows that there are many paths to success and she's there to get my guidance, but also she is a self-led woman in that she's going to always value her own intuition over anybody else's. That is the type of client that I want to work with. I want to work with the type of client who communicates, who takes the responsibility for her actions and her results. So all of these things, I know the type of client I want to work with. I have to be that person first. If any of those things that I just listed off, and I could go on and on and on, if any of those things, I'm like, you know what, I don't do that. That is an invitation for me to do that. And I do to the best of my ability. And that is why I keep attracting these bosses. I know that because we're matches. We're a match. And I'm really proud of that. And I don't say that to brag. I say that because I used to not do that. And I see a very distinct difference. It's not because all of a sudden they just found me and they're here now. It's because I attracted them by who I am as a person. We all get to do this. So if you constantly find yourself having to or struggling with selling or the type of person that you're attracting in, there's something there. There's an invitation for you. Or maybe you are like the dream client, but you're not speaking to the dream client. You're focusing on the non-ideal client because you think you're telling yourself the lie that those are the only people that will buy from you. And that's not true. You've just been focusing on the wrong type of person. Okay, moving on. The next beta behavior that we are leaving behind in 2024 is copying other types of launches, other types of content creation, really copying anything that isn't true to you, that isn't actually who you are, simply because other people do it. What comes to mind to me, and I used to do this, which is why I think like it stands out and I can see it so clearly. But like with content creation, I will see people do specific things in their content and it feels so cringy because it's like, why are we doing this? Not because it's cringy behavior, but because for them, it just feels off. It feels off to the person who's doing it, but somebody else could do it and it feels right? So it feels as if this person saw another creator or like their coach or something do something in a video. So now they're doing it in a video. And it probably worked great for their coach because it felt very, quote, authentic to them. But do you get what I'm saying? So like if you ever find yourself creating content and it's like, oh, I don't want to do this. This feels so weird, but so-and-so did it and they went viral. So I'm going to do it. It's like so-and-so bought cargo pants. So I'm going to buy cargo. No, please don't. Spare yourself. It doesn't have to be like that. I'm trying to think of an example. I have one specifically, but we're not going to do that. I just think okay, when Reels first came out and were a thing, I was like hardcore into Reels. I feel like I was like one of the pioneers of, I went hard. Okay, I didn't catch the TikTok train until later and I regretted it. I was like, damn, I wish I had gone on TikTok earlier. And then Reels came on. I was like, this is my chance. So like I went crazy with Reels. And remember, it was such a weird time. It was 2020. We all were in a very bizarre headspace and just place in general in reality. And I was doing some weird shit. I was like every trend, every little thing I was doing. And oh my God, I could die like going back and watching those old things. And I kept them all. Go have a laugh. Go make fun of me. They're all there because I refuse to delete it because like I did what I did and I need to be held accountable for my actions. But it's there and it's so cringy. And you know what? Like, good for her. Good for that version of me for just like not overthinking it and doing it. And then you kind of get to the point where it's like, okay, now what's my flavor of content? What feels right for me? It like TikTok dances, not for me. Okay. TikTok skits or like skits where the voiceover skits, not for me. So like what's my thing? It's like taking the training wheels off at some point. So I think there's like phase 1 is just showing up. Phase 1 is like, just like, don't overthink it. Go do what everybody else is doing. Just like get into the habit of showing up online. That's phase 1. And we never judge anybody for that because God bless you. It's not easy to do. But then at some point, once you kind of get the hang of it, you get to take the training wheels off. And what that looks like is, now, how would I do this in my way? What would feel authentic to me? And whatever. So like whatever that is, it's not going to come across as cringy because people will be able to see it and be like, okay, that's her. You see what I'm saying? Okay. So we're not doing that anymore. We're not doing weird shit on content anymore just because it worked for somebody else when we don't actually want to do it. It's unnecessary. We don't have to. Next thing that we are leaving behind in 2024 is trying to be relatable. There's no trying to be relatable. That in and of itself is inauthentic. Think about it. Trying to be relatable is inauthentic. They cancel each other out. That doesn't even make sense. You are relatable just because you are, but it's not going to be to everybody. And it might not be to the certain people that you used to be relatable to. So I don't know about you, but I've noticed with my audience, and sometimes like this used to hurt my feelings, but now I get it. Because when you look at it from this lens, I get it. And it makes sense. But I used to get my little feelings hurt because like when I started my business, I built like all of these connections and I had, my first clients and, my first mastermind members and I was really invested in these people and I loved these people. And sometimes they'll like come across my path or like I'm still following them. And I'll pull them up, be like, oh, what is she up to? I haven't seen her in years. And she's unfollowed me. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Wait, what did I do? And then like this will happen so many times. And what I've come to realize is like, number one, social media is so fickle, right? Like we're all doing the best that we can. We all look, I'm in such a bitchy mood today. Anything that comes across my path is going to get on my nerves today. But yesterday, I was Susie fucking Sunshine. So like the same things could have come across my path and I've been like, oh, that's cute. Today, I'm like, die. So social media is the same way. So who knows? Who knows why somebody unfollows us? Who knows why one day they love you, one day they hate you. But that's how it goes for everybody. So when you try and play this trying to be relatable game, trying to people please and be everybody's friend and everybody's buddy game, it is a no-sum game. It is the fastest path to burnout, to disappointment, to full-on time waste. It's a waste of your time. So stop doing that. Let me go back to what I was saying about people, because I started this account I think I started my Instagram page in 2017, officially started this version of my business in 2018. That's a long time, right? 2018 to 2000, now 25 almost. There's a lot of things that have happened between now and then. So when I was a baby business and still had my training wheels on and didn't have two dimes to rub together and was just trying to figure it out, I was relatable to a certain person. And then at some point, I changed. And then at some point I changed again. I am in every way, shape, and form a completely different human than I was 3 years ago. 3 years ago. I've changed so much. Chris and I talk about this all the time. We've been together for a decade now, married for 8 years, together for 10. And we reflect on when we first met, he was like, I feel like, and he's talking about himself. He's like, I feel like I've obviously changed in some ways. He was like, but you are night and day, not the person that I married, not in a bad way, but it's true. It is so true. So yeah, if you found me in 2018 and you related to me then, but you don't relate to me now, I get that. That makes sense. And it's why new people come in. So other people who follow me now, if they had found me in 2018, who knows? So my point is we're constantly, the whole goal here, in my opinion, is to evolve and grow. That's our goal as humans. And that's going to look different for everybody. It's going to be at different rates for everybody. We are in our own race, a race of one. It's you against you, baby. Okay. Your goal is to just move and evolve and learn and feel and experience life and grow, whatever that looks like. So at different points of that experience, different points of that journey, you're going to be relatable to people who are also on that point, or who relate in some way or want to relate to that in some way. And then when you move past it, some people come with you, some people don't. So this goal of trying to be relatable or holding yourself back or doing certain things or saying certain things to try and appease and appeal to a certain group of people, or God forbid, one person, is actually insane. I get it. I've been there. I've done that, but it is so crazy. It's so insane. Because like, relatable to who? I did a question box when I went to Boston a couple of weeks ago, and somebody said that. They were like, I have these big goals and these aspirations, and I actually believe I can do it, but I'm worried about leaving people behind. I'm worried, like, what if, and as I'm saying this, I literally had a very similar conversation to one of my mastermind members just yesterday, and she got really emotional. She was like, I have this like weird intuitive knowing that if I allow myself to go further in the direction that I want to go, the people that I love in my life will not come with me. And that is a very real fear and something that we can all relate to. And I used to think, like, when people would say, I'm scared of success, I used to think that was so stupid. Like, who would be scared of success? But that's what they mean. And I understand that now. And I feel that because I've experienced it. There are people in my family that, like, it's weird. It's weird. But to like keep myself still or small, to be more digestible to somebody else, when you say that out loud, it's like, oh, okay, we're not here to do that. But so many people do this without even being aware of it. Let me make myself small so you'll want to be with me still. So I don't offend you. So I don't make you feel bad about being yourself. It's like, you're allowed to do that. It's a choice. But is it a choice that you want to make long term? Probably not. And what I found, here's the crazy thing. And this is what I told my client yesterday. I was like, look, is there a chance that these loved ones that you're thinking of, it's true, like that they flow away? Is it true that like that mismatch of frequency will repel you with certain people that you love? Absolutely. That can happen. It is a possibility. And as equal of a possibility as that, maybe even more so of a possibility that can also happen, is that you inspire them to also grow and with you. And this has also happened with me. So I have family members who, like we just repel. It's a mismatch, and it sucks. It's really hard. It truly is. And I have so much empathy for that. And then there are other family members that if you had told me 2 years ago that like they would kind of like flow with me and we would, inspire each other, and we would be able to like maintain and grow together, I would have laughed. I'd be like, there's no way. So we don't know other people's full potential. So don't limit people. Like, imagine, it's kind of a very limiting thing to project onto people. Like, if I grow, I'm going to leave them behind. That you're giving them no credit for their own responsibility over their evolution. They could do whatever they want. They might surprise you. So give them the option to surprise you by doing you. Always do you. When in doubt, always do you. So we're not trying to be relatable anymore. Okay, we have a few more. Other beta behavior that we are leaving behind in 2024. Kind of already touched on this one, but we're going to go a little bit deeper. Letting another coach override your knowing. Okay? This drives me insane. And I'm talking about myself here too. I'm talking about like you listening to this podcast. Anything, like I said before, anything that I have said, we're like, oh, well, I really like doing that. You're telling me I shouldn't? No, screw me. Screw me. If your intuition is nudging you to go in a certain way and it feels right in your soul, you trust that. I don't care if it's me, if it's Alex Hermosi or whatever the hell his name is. If I have one more person say, I was listening to da-da-da training by da-da-da-da, and they said I should do this, and I don't want to do that. Do you think I should do that, or should I do this? It's like, so wait, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to be nice. Okay, we're back. Everybody is giving advice through their own lived experience. They're filtering it through their own experience. So maybe something did work for another person. Maybe they're telling you that because they're selling something. Maybe they're telling you that because that is the move. I don't know exactly what we're talking about right now. And you are probably smarter than you're giving yourself credit for. And you have a gift called intuition, and that should override anything. Unless Jesus Christ himself floats down on a cloud and says, hey, you should price this thing at this price instead of this price. Screw it. Okay? Do you. Now, if you're looking for advice, okay, cool. But what I mean is, again, when you want to do something and you feel in your soul something is the move for you, and then somebody comes around and says in a podcast or a training something completely different, and now you're overthinking it and you're stressing about it. It's okay to have a think about it, but to constantly put your fate in the hands of somebody else simply because they're making more money than you, or they've been doing it longer than you, or they have a podcast and you don't, or you admire them, or whatever, it's just fickle, right? It's just, they don't know your current situation, your specific situation. Now, if this is a close proximity situation, right? Like I have a mastermind and we're very close. Like I know these women, I know a lot of details about their business. I know their offers. I know their, the limitations that they've been working through. I know so much. So when I give advice to them, that's something to take into consideration because I have so much context. But beta behavior looks like so-and-so said on a podcast or in a training, I should do this. So I guess I should do that, even though I don't want to. No, give yourself some credit. Don't put yourself in a box that you don't want to be in just because somebody else is in that box. You know what I'm saying? We're not doing it. We're not doing it. That includes me. Again, that includes me. All right. Next thing that we are leaving behind in 2024. Buckle up. Industry and average pricing. Industry and average pricing. This also could kind of go along with the above, right? Like somebody in a coaching certification who tells you that your pricing should be whatever. Like I said, I was just pulling money from the sky. And one of the women in there, she is a very specific type of coach. And I guess she did like a certification or something. And in this cert, they basically say like, we're going to suggest you price your stuff around here. And I get that because again, it's like the training wheels, right? It's like social media content. It's a lot easier. Like, let me just get you off the ground. So I'm going to give you some guidelines. I'm going to give you some, think of it like bowling with those little dividers up or whatever, right? Like, I just want to get you going and then we get to take those down. So I understand why those things are in place and why like coaching certifications give you these examples and these spectrums, but they are not meant to live and die by, period. If they do not take your overhead into consideration, your lifestyle into consideration, your goals into consideration, middle finger to it immediately and forever. Forever. It doesn't matter. If you want to do what everybody else does, go get another job. Like, it also doesn't take into consideration the amount of work that comes with running your own business. You're not just showing up for calls and getting paid $30 an hour to coach. You're also creating your content. You're having to market yourself. You're having to manage these clients and customer service and everything else that you do. If you were working for somebody else and they were bringing you leads and they were cleaning up your office and all the other things, all the other perks that comes with working for somebody else, then yeah, you have to go by their prices. That's how that works. But you're working for yourself, baby. Okay? If they're not paying your bills, they don't get to tell you what you get to charge. And that goes for other coaches. That goes for other people in your industry. That goes for clients. Okay? If a client comes into your world and scoffs at your prices or can't afford and you don't have to feel bad about that. It is what it is. You don't have to work with me. I saw when doing a little bit of research, because I wanted to see if I could come up with other ideas for behavior that maybe I was leaving out. And I chat GPT'd coaching industry pet peeves. So of course it pulled up some beta bullshit, straight up, somebody who is not in the arena wrote all of these 1,000,000%. And one of them talked about overcharging and alienating a subset of your audience from working with you. No fucking duh. No duh. You're not meant to work with everybody. And also, how can you price to make everybody happy? That's impossible. You're going to alienate somebody no matter what. Even if you work for free, you're alienating the person that values their time and who wants to pay for a value of work. So you're really damned if you do, damned if you don't. That is so insane to me. Coaches that overcharge it, we're a dime a dozen. Go work with somebody else. Nobody is forcing you. We don't have a monopoly on business coaching. Go work with somebody else who's undercharging, please, by all means. So don't let anybody pressure you or tell you what you can and cannot charge. And don't let me pressure you into charging more. If you want to run yourself ragged by charging industry prices because you want to be approachable or whatever the hell you're telling yourself, or because so-and-so said that you should, that do you. If that makes you happy, do it. Do it. But if you're not happy, raise your prices. Okay? You know why I don't, and I'm just going to say it. Fuck it. If somebody gets mad at this, I don't care. I really don't care. I don't struggle to get clients. And I also never deal with anybody scoffing over my prices or batting an eyelash. If they do, they don't do it to me. I think that because they know that it wouldn't affect me. But I don't struggle to get clients because I don't struggle. Sit with that for a minute. I don't struggle to get clients because I don't struggle. Because I know my overhead, I know my goals, I'm very strategic with my pricing, I'm very focused and steadfast in my strategy and what I launch and everything that I do. I've been doing this long enough, okay? I know what I'm doing, so I don't struggle. I attract in that ease because I feel at ease. Because most of a big reason why is because I charge what I want. I don't charge what somebody else thinks that I should charge. And I know that there is a match for that. And I know there's a woman out there who sees that, who for whatever reason wants to work with me. And that is more than worth it to her because she knows I'm not out here stressing about bills. I'm not out here, tap dancing on the internet, constantly trying to get my next lead. I'm out here coaching and doing this and feeling really good and getting ideas. And I have time to do research and I have time to whatever, you get what you give, you get what you put out. So if you feel as if you are struggling to get clients, I would ask yourself, are you struggling behind the scenes too? Raise your prices. Immediately raise your prices if that is the case. And this thought, again, let's go back to this fear. Allie, I can't raise my prices. I'm already struggling to sell at the price point that I have now. What did we learn? What attracts beta fish, beta bait. If you want to catch a whale, or even what's in between a beta and a whale? Shark. You want to catch a great white? Put out some great white bait. You don't have to go for the whale. You don't have to go for the whale. But you will, depending on what you put out there. And I'm not just talking about offers. I'm talking about your content, and I'm talking about your energy. There is a match to that. I had to level with one of my clients whom I love, but she was having a hard time for a minute. And she, and I'm trying to think what I want to share about this story. She was having a hard time for a minute, and I was doing this pulling money from the sky, and she had some reservations because she's been having a hard time. And I was like, babe, what have you been putting out like literally for the past at least 3 months? And it was all like super, super low ticket stuff and a lot of free stuff. And I was like, is it any surprise that like that's what you're swimming with? No shade, but duh, that's why that's happening. And I said, put out something else. Try it. I said, she's out there. You just haven't been talking to her. Put out the bigger thing. And she did. And she got instant sales. And she was so thankful and excited. She was like, I had doubted that she was even there. And it's because I wasn't speaking to her. I was like, it's that simple. It's literally that simple. And this particular client, the reason why it worked for her, it wasn't just because like it's not as easy as just like throwing out a 10K offer and be like, okay, whale, come get your whale food. It's not as simple as that. You got to be a match to it. And this client was absolutely a match for whatever she wanted. She just kind of got a little bit stuck in a pattern. That's it. So I lovingly reminded her she has a whole other side of her audience that she just hasn't been paying as much attention to. I did this too. I did this over the summer. And it was intentional in a sense because I like serving my audience as much as possible, no matter where you're at, right? And like I said, like I'll get fed an ad and I'll buy a $7 thing. It's not about, I'm not saying that it's a high ticket, low ticket thing. It's a overall frequency thing, okay? And I wanted to create some low ticket things because I wanted to have like a really good mix of offers in my own library. Also, it makes sense. Like if it's somebody's first time working with you, they might want to try something a little bit lower and then go into the big thing. That happens all the time. So I kind of got into a little bit of a groove selling mostly low ticket. And I started to get a little warped as well. Like, oh my God, is nobody buying higher ticket anymore? What is happening? It's like, oh, wait. Okay. I've been swimming with but I've been swimming with, this side of my audience, not this side of my audience. Okay, cool. So let's just like switch the tone. We get to switch it up. We get to swim back and forth. I'm sorry. I was in a bad mood today. I love you. I'll see you next week. Bye.